This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Super Bowl Sunday getting closer and closer. Big program lined up today among our guests. David Purdom going to join us from ESPN, covers sports betting there. Had a great story this week about how popular mention markets are becoming. He'll explain that. Mike Somich, VSiN host, his best bets on the game. Paul Charchian, weekly Thursday spot. Nick Whalen and Steve Wispauly on soccer this weekend. A lot to get into, as today was also trading deadline day in the NBA, and that has since passed, and Giannis stayed put in Milwaukee, and we hope that plenty of you were able to make money on that by betting him to go back and stay with the Bucks throughout the week, as it seemed like that was going to be more and more obvious at places where you could bet it. I think there is a takeaway from me with some of these deals from a betting standpoint, and that is on certain nights, this will be a part of the handicap, right? I'm not going to say to blindly do this every single time that they take to court, because you need to monitor lineups, factor in who they're playing overall. There's a lot that'll go into it. But a team like Indiana and what they did today. So they got Zubac from the Clippers. And they sent out Benedict Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, 2 first-round picks, a second-round pick as well.
What a trade by the Pacers.
Oh, my Lord. Are you serious with this?
He's a good player. 14 and 11, good defensive player. So we've talked about numerous times Magic Johnson gave him away when he was a Laker.
No doubt. So the Clippers get the 2026 first-round pick from Indy, a protected 1 through 4 and 10 through 30, plus a 2029 Pacers unprotected first-round pick. If the Pacers first-rounder this year falls outside of that 1 to 4 or 10 to 30 range, it converts to the Pacers 2031 unprotected first overall. So the Pacers need to lose games again. They have the third best chance of winning the lottery as we speak. Right?
Imagine that.
It's a great first round and a loaded draft this year.
You go to the NBA Finals, Game 7, and your star player gets hurt, but then 2 years later you can win the lottery, and you had a big piece like Zubac, which is an upgrade over Turner.
No, and then Indiana is going to be maybe the favorites once Halliburton comes back next year to win the East. Mm-hmm. I think you got to like what they're doing here. But, again, the incentive here is to lose games. So I think they need to be involved fading the Pacers on moneyline parlays down the stretch this season. Much like the Jazz. We'll see what the Jazz are going to do tonight against Atlanta. They're big dogs in that game, but a lot of moving parts with the Hawks because of deals that they've made. Now they came out. Collier had 20-plus assists the other night, and they won that game. They don't want to win too many games that go though, because their first-round pick is protected 1 through 8. Otherwise, it goes to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, moneyline parlays will be the way to attack it. There's a lot of bad teams and a lot of teams that have to lose and will sit players, and they're going to have to get creative. The other angle is someone has to make the playoffs. You know, and the Clippers essentially punting on the season. It's a shame. They were on a 17-4 run. Then what happens with Harden, and now you deal Zubac as well. And so they're going to go with a total rebuild. And they're odds shot down to make the playoffs. I think a bet to be made is Golden State to make the playoffs at minus 170 as they add Porzingis. Mm-hmm. And you can also make a bet at DraftKings. There's a head-to-head. Who will win more games, the Warriors or the Hawks? I think that'll be the Warriors as well. And that's $1.10. So
not bad.
Yeah. So some of these teams, I mean, at the end of the day, someone's going to have to make the playoffs. And all these teams that are under 500, yet in the play-in or traded somebody, I think that Golden State is going to make the playoffs. And also, I like Phoenix, but they shouldn't be 1,400 to make the playoffs because you never know in a one-game scenario or a key injury that something unfortunate could happen too.
Oh, interesting. Where are they at right now in the standings in the West?
They're the 7th seed.
Ah. So then, yeah, you're right. In a playing game, that's not automatic for them. No, of course not.
Someone gets hurt, or you have an off night. I mean, look what happened to Gonzaga. I mean, anything can happen in a basketball game. So, and also, I think the Bucks did the right thing. They're going to wait till the summer.
Agreed.
A lot of GMs said they were never serious about moving him. I don't know where the Bucks steam came from. The Bulls steam came from, and the big move on the Bulls to acquire him. but Minnesota gave it a go. Couldn't work out. Golden State gave it a go. Didn't work out. Now they have to get on the same page. And enough's enough. Ask for the trade and say that's it, and then tell them where you want to go. And then cut it out with this, I want to come back and play this year. You can't do that.
Well,
Number one, you have to lose games. Number two, God forbid you come back and have a catastrophic injury.
Sure.
Then I can't trade you.
Yeah, no doubt. And that happened to Durant.
Yeah.
So I would say this. By the way, the stuff with Giannis, too. The reports on this. Where the thing that I saw last night or the night before was all of a sudden, no, he would prefer to actually stay in Milwaukee again. Like, that came up again. But he doesn't think they can build a contender around him. So that's why he needs to find a new home. Just, again, they're hedging everything that they say, basically, and still not officially come out and saying, I need to have a trade. By the way, other people reach out to me as well, and I don't disagree. I miss Adrian Wojnarowski more than anything else.
How so?
Oh, he was the nuts. Other than the draft thing, the Paolo Banchero draft.
Yeah.
How many times did you hear a report that, okay, something serious now is cooking? Nothing ever really came that serious.
Mm-hmm.
And it would tilt one way,
Okay.
like, uh-oh,
Okay.
now we're going to talk about it later on today on our show that we have. You don't want to miss it. And then 2 hours later, there's nothing really happening there. It was a seesaw the entire time. Woj was not like that. Like, it was definitive, man.
Yeah.
If there was a Woj bomb, like, it was going off for a reason.
Well, fair enough. He also couldn't handle that life anymore, I guess.
Well, I don't blame him. I mean, you're up
yeah.
22 hours a day.
Yeah. Even if something can happen, you take a shower, right? Or you go take your
Right.
kids to school. Oh, I missed something. I love the Knicks getting Grand Theft Alvarado because he's a replacement for McBride who got hurt.
Prediction.
Yeah.
He is going to instantly become a fan
they'll love
favorite
him.
in the Garden.
Oh, they'll love him.
Yep.
Ultimate hustle guy. There's also a prop at DraftKings. Who will win more games, the Celtics or the Cavs? Boston's $1.30. Slow down here with the Harden hype. Now, Boston still has a 2.5-game lead. What a win last night to go into Houston and blast them.
Killed them.
Plus, I have the Tatum angle. With Tatum could come back. So, and I have a 2.5-game lead. I think we got to slow down with the Cavs hype, even though they acquired Harden, but that is a weird fit. And good move by the Lakers. Now, he can't defend, but Kennard is 50% from three. And Gabe Vincent has not worked out and been a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Much like when you acquire these guys, you get these guys out of Miami, and that doesn't work out. But he was always hurt. He didn't have an impact. Kennard shooting 50% from three. The Lakers acquire him, and a pretty good trade there to help out Luka with another shooter.
Yeah, don't scoff at that, because if you look at it right now, he is, I had to do a triple take when I saw it earlier today, but right now his season, 49.7%, top 10 in NBA history for an individual season. I thought for sure we would have had like 10 different times where somebody was 50% or better, but that's currently where he is sitting. So I think that'll certainly help out that team. Now, do they need more offense? I don't know about that. But also, back to the Warriors for a second. After all that and trying to do whatever they could to get Giannis, and now that was their chance, right? They're not going to have that chance again in the summertime. It's going to come down to the Knicks and the Heat, and maybe the Timberwolves remain active for him. That's what you ended up doing at the deadline, and that's what you got for Kuminga, a guy that you paid but you wouldn't play, and Buddy Hield.
Yeah, Porzingis has been sick for 2.5 years. It's like long COVID and what he has. It's bizarre. It's baffling. Like the people in Boston couldn't figure it out. Oh, he's still sick. What?
Oh, he's out again tonight.
Yeah, doesn't feel well. So you're right. That's your big move? Okay. But I still think they have enough pieces that they're going to make the playoffs, and then you look at the teams below them that are trying to lose. If something catastrophic would happen to OKC, this also gets interesting. I know the league is holding their breath because they might get 2 or 3 lottery picks in light of what happened with this Clippers trade too. But if you take out the Thunder, you have Cleveland, New York, Boston, Detroit, Minnesota, San Antonio, and the Rockets all in the 13 to 19 to 20 to 1 range to win the title. Thing would be wide open. And I still think the East is going to be competitive because the Knicks are playing good ball. Cavs are going to be interesting offensively, and certainly Boston's going to be a threat too. And we love the Pistons. So I think this thing could be wide open, especially if there's a key injury.
Well, and SGA is certainly the key injury, going to be out, past the All-Star break. We'll see how long that actually is going to linger. Now, I needed, because of I have several different division bets, one of which, and I brought this up live on Pot of the Futures when we recorded a couple of weeks back, there was a 300-1 on Denver to win that division when other books had like 60-1. And I grabbed that because they were playing so well without Joker. And now with the SGA, this all coincides, right? SGA got hurt. Nuggets played back-to-back. They lost both games. And that game last night to go to double overtime and lose it, they were fortunate to, I think, be in that spot. But also that 3 almost rattled in from Joker that would have won the game. And that would have been a nice one. But you can't have...
How about that beat? How about that beat if you had Denver? The end of the game, horrendous call. End of overtime, Knicks up 2. Murray barely grazes the rim. There's 0.3 seconds left. They call a foul after the Knicks were celebrating for 30 seconds. Billis and Pash are on the game, and they say, well, there's no time left. Knicks win. Oh, wait. There was a foul occurred with 0.3 seconds.
Yep.
They make both free throws. We go to double overtime. Of course, the Knicks cover. And win by 7.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's how it boils down last
It shows
night.
you how good Denver is, and it doesn't really speak to the Knicks very well that you're at home. Denver's on a back-to-back, double overtime, down 2 starters. You couldn't put them away.
Oh, they're going to be...
And Joker's 1 of 13 from 3. That team is good.
They're awesome. They can, win the West. What about the Spurs last night? Struggling, and that was a mash unit by OKC. And they never really buried them. Like, OKC lingered the entire time. They were right there. And OKC was without everybody last night. So they were down to like 8 guys that they could actually play. That's 4 wins now for San Antonio over Oklahoma City in the regular season. Win some, lose some. Coming up next, a little early here. Paulie will tell you about a 13-1 run, 18-2 run, and a team went outright at 24-1 last night. Details coming up next.
Laptop or phone, couch or sportsbook, VSiN goes where you go. Wherever you watch VSiN, the experience stays seamless. Live shows, replays, and sports-specific clips all at your fingertips. VSiN Watch puts you in the driver's seat. Available in Roku, Samsung, Amazon, iOS, Android, app stores, or get it direct from the source at VSiN.com. Download VSiN Watch today on your favorite app store and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Everybody, Jensen Lewis here, co-host of VSiN by the Books with my guy Dave Ross. Tune in tomorrow as we bring you a full 3-hour breakdown of Super Bowl 60 between the Patriots and the Seahawks. We'll cover the big game from every angle with all of our best bets. And, of course, joined by a stacked guest list including Warren Sharp, Lou Finocchiaro, Nick Whalen, Thomas Gable, and 3-time Super Bowl champion Matt Chatham. VSiN by the Books, Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, win some. How about the Tigers? They get Skubal at the arbitration, and they also get Valdez. Nice 1-2 punch for the Detroit Tigers.
So he won that arbitration at $32 million. What if he didn't win?
Yeah.
Does he go into the office today and say, get me out of here? I know people in Detroit were panicking last night, like they're trading him now because they just gave Valdez way more than what they wanted to give him.
Uh-huh.
Back-to-back Cy Young guy. He loves playing there.
No kidding. Hockey, the Wild. I forgot to talk about this yesterday. The gift that keeps on giving. How about 3-3 in the first period? 13-1 overrun first period. 18-2 overrun for the game. Goals for fun with the Wild. Home team's 8-2 last night. Celtics pound the Rockets 2-1 on the money line. What a wild night in college basketball, an all-timer. We start what happened in Portland. The biggest upset in the West Coast Conference in over 30 years. Gonzaga was laying 22.5. Lost the game. Portland was as high as 24-1 on the money line. Their first win over a top 10 team in 30 tries. And it's Gonzaga's first loss to a team with a losing record since 2011. What? How do you lose that game? But it speaks to these mid-majors, like we've been saying with Miami of Ohio, it's hard to win. Here's a 22-point favorite that wasn't ready to play. They were hot from three, and they lost.
So what happened to Gonzaga's seeding after that game last night?
That's a big one. That is like BYU. I'm done with BYU. That's it. Get your act together in the first half. Quit falling behind 15 every game.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma State 3-1. Loyola Marymount plus 270. Minnesota plus 280. Cleveland State plus 260. Bye-bye at-large bid for George Mason. Duquesne was 3-1. Weird night in college hoops.
Can I give you a note right now on college basketball, or you want me to save it?
Go ahead, hit me.
Because you brought it up there with Cleveland State. Our buddy Kevin Rogers checking in last night. Paulie, last night was the 5th straight game the Cleveland State Vikings have won outright of at least a 7.5 or an 8-point dog.
No way.
And they started, I believe, 1-7 in conference play. You go back to January 17th, God. They were catching 8 against Youngstown, 3-1 in the money line.
Yeah.
The next game, they were catching 16 against Wright State, 10-1 in the money line, won the game. After that, Green Bay catching 7.5 or 8, almost 3-1. They beat Milwaukee's a 10-point dog, 4-1 in the money line. And last night, as you just said, in the plus 260, 3-1 range. 5 straight games?
Wow.
That has to be pushing some sort of record, I would think.
No kidding. Absolutely. Subscribe. Be part of the team. VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. Thanks to everyone who sends them in every day. Look at the dog where he learns. Put the treat on the spatula, and he hits it with the paw, jumps up, grabs it. Give himself a treat. That's creative, and that's a smart dog.
Oh, that's very impressive.
And I don't know how you'd think of that, but that's fine. And dogs have a sense of humor, and they can make fun of other dogs, like this guy. This guy's making fun of the dog's short legs here. Coming in. He's at the corgi. He's falling behind the corgi, and he's making fun of him with the short legs, how he's walking. Got that, yeah. It's like one dog's crawling behind him, and he's looking over, like, yeah. Hey, look at you. You got short legs, huh?
Dogs can be sarcastic,
Look at that, yeah. He's making fun of the corgi with his short legs and how he gets around. I've seen it all now. Bad for the books. Spurs +2 to -9.5. Won by 10. And a couple of bad beats, as I mentioned. The Nuggets +5. The Knicks win by 7 in double overtime. The ending of the first overtime. Denver down 2. Looks like the Knicks are going to win the game. Hold on. 0.3 seconds. Foul. Shoot free throws. And Butler Providence under. Regulation, still under. First overtime, still under. Had to go double overtime to get over the total. Before the line moves, sharp plays already there. Super Bowl, the biggest betting event of the year. Limits peak, every half point matters. Powered by advanced AI, proven insider sources. The Robinhood plays up 30 units. Been with Follow the Money since day one, and Jeff and the crew been at it since 2011. Free reports, alerts, transparent results since 2011. They track the sharp money on the sides, totals, and props before the number disappears. Trusted by pros, monitored by the books. Stay ahead of the line this Super Bowl. Visit sharpplays.com. Give them a follow. Sharpplays.com.
Did I give you something that happened today? First round, by the way, of the Waste Management.
Yeah, bad beat.
So Matthew Fitzpatrick, for those of you who had him to lead after the first round, he was 7 under through 8 holes. 7 through 8. Then he was 8 under through 12 holes. And that was it. He got to 17. He has the lead over Chris Gotterup, who was 1 back. Fitzpatrick goes bogey to close. Gotterup, meanwhile, birdied one of the final 3 holes, and he finished right now at 8 under. And so that was the early wave.
Wasn't he the leader in the couple tournaments ago too? Either
first
won
round?
or first round.
He won a tournament already this year.
Okay, yeah.
So we'll see how the afternoon guys are going to go, but nobody's really even in striking distance as we speak. But it's still early for a bunch of these golfers who came on in the afternoon. But that's a rough one, huh? On Fitzpatrick.
Bad. What do you make of it's Tom Brady? Tom, who do you like in the game? Well, I have no dog in the fight. What? After the history with Seattle and Sherman talking trash, and then that was after Deflategate, and you were awesome, and the big win, you get the Butler play, Will Fork, Gronkowski, Asante Samuel are like, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, they're all calling him out.
Yeah,
Samuel wants to beat him up, I think.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you respond by tomorrow, or I'm going public. I don't know. I don't have a dog in the fight in this one. May the best team win. On his podcast with your buddy Jim Gray. I can't believe it.
I'm sure it's a riveting podcast.
All that political. Don't get all that political. I mean, this isn't the Raiders. Say what it is. You were a Patriot for so long. Once you're a Patriot for life. Come on, Tom.
So is this now the new world that we've entered with Brady as minority owner with another NFL team, but also as a broadcaster? And
if he was on the game, I understand, but he's not on the game.
Not on the game. But I mean, so has that mentality trickled into him now?
I can't believe that.
I know.
That's bizarre. I would agree with the Patriot players. The same way. You were there for so long. I mean, come on.
I'll give you another bet that I landed on last night. As numbers continue to change, and there are thousands of props up available, obviously, when you combine all of the sports books together. So last week, Paul Charchian, by the way, he was coming up now in 8 minutes on the show today. More bets that he likes on the game. He had a beautiful breakdown across the board on guys like Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson, but also like the hardcore analysis with Rashid Shaheed and how bad the Patriots are, specifically against stopping the run against wide receivers. Yes, there are metrics out there that actually defines that. The Westgate opened up the first rush by Shaheed at 4.5 yards. First rush, 4.5 yards.
Okay.
It was bet down to 1.5. Over was plus 110. So not only did it come down 3 yards, the juice changed by 20 cents. And it was like, I think they're going to give him a carry. He doesn't get a carry in every game, but he's got a carry, I think, at 8 out of the last 11 games. And when I was doing the math last night and I looked at the game logs, I think every single first carry with the Seahawks but one was more than 1.5 yards. So at plus 110 on that. I had to make that bet.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Wow.
If he doesn't get a carry, the under's the winner. So that's part of the gamble as well.
Goes back to Frank B's discussion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
But I was confident enough to put in a decent bet on that, thinking that he's going to get at least one.
I'm also freaked out by Henderson props. The fact that he only got on the field for 4 plays against Denver. You showed the...
Did you watch that video?
Yeah. He's not following his blockers and also the pass protection, how they're concerned there, and now you're going against the nasty Seattle defense in front. So you see how low you can't believe it. Number one is a home run hitter and a guy who's had a good year and was in the conversation for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Minus 160 just to have a catch. Will he go over 2.5 yards? And then he's like 17.5 for rushing yards. Like, how many carries will he get? Where you really have to look at this and all the anti-Henderson stuff from maybe the coaching staff, but how they love Stevenson. How Stevenson stuff over and Henderson props under. I don't know how many plays he's going to get.
I know. I was reading somebody, I think today, I don't remember if it was on VSiN.com or somewhere else. They were making the case that you can't buy into what happened in the AFC title game, and that they were buying in on like the low numbers right now, and it's the time to hop in on him. And I hope that that person is right, because that's what we have done since the start. I went back and looked. I played over 9.5 carries at plus 750. Just in case it does flip again. And maybe if something happens to Stevenson and he's not the bell cow here in the game. Or what if they get the lead and they try to grind it, and they go with both guys.
Yeah.
So at that number, when he achieved 10 plus a lot this year, I thought that was worth a stab.
Well, and then you're on the receiving stuff because of what Charch his breakdown and what Corum did last week.
For sure.
What Seattle gives up to the running backs and the backups. But I just hope he's out there enough.
No doubt. Well, we got to have the snap count in our favor for sure. On that note, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian has had another week to look at these props on the Super Bowl. He'll add more to the portfolio as only he can next here on VSiN.
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money on VSiN.
Weekly visit time now. Fantasy Football Hall of Famer, longtime friend of the show, Paul Charchian, joins us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow him on X at Paul Charchian. I was just talking about your analysis last week, and if anybody missed it again, they can go back and listen to the Follow the Money podcast. And a bunch of the players, including the Rashid Shaheed rushing yards breakdown, was so good. I found a bet last night on first carry over 1.5 yards plus 110, so I had to fire.
Yeah, that is. He has one of the things that we touched on with Shaheed is he actually doesn't get stuffed very often when they do run with him. We talked about he had the 5th best, I think it was, I'm doing this top of my head, 5th best stuff rate among wide receivers on runs, which is super esoteric. But that's a nice way to refactor that bet. I like that first carry over 1.5 yards. Rashid Shaheed, and I do think he gets the carry he needs here. Okay, so we're going to have plenty of positive here to get into, but why don't we begin with a negative? I like that because we rarely do that, right? Ourselves included. But you found a player, you isolated a player in this game that you want to fire in on the under. Who is it? I can't tell you how many weeks I start my prep for this. Like, this is the week I'm just focusing on unders. I can't help myself. I get all excited about guys that I think are going to have great games. And we end up talking overs all the time. But let's talk Kayshon Boutte. Under 30.5 yards, under 2.5 catches here. Mitch and Paul, you guys know I have an unnatural interest in Kayshon Boutte. He was one of my preseason sleepers with the last pick of your draft. We threw a couple of anytime touchdown darts across the full season on Kayshon Boutte. If you want, I can give the quick bio on Kayshon Boutte, the background, because it is pretty fascinating. He's got a redemption arc built into him, but I don't want to burn a lot of valuable time. You tell me. Well, we're up against it time-wise, but it's fascinating because... All right, then we're going to keep moving. Yeah, because here's what you need to know about Kayshon Boutte. He is a low separation receiver who requires Drake May to throw perfect downfield passes, which sometimes May does, by the way, because he's great. How bad is Boutte's separation? 7th worst in the league among wide receivers. And despite that low separation, Boutte, they keep running him on these deep routes. He has the 3rd longest ADOT, 17 yards per pass in the second half of the season to Boutte. He caught 9 passes of more than 20 yards this year. He is a downfield guy. Here's why I don't love him. Seattle, elite in contested catch situations. They allowed the 3rd best catch rate on contested catches that were more than 10 yards. Just 33% of contested catch situations resulted in a caught ball against Seattle. And even more daunting, on deep passes of more than 20 yards, again, getting into the Boutte territory here, in tight coverage, they allowed just a 9% catch rate. So the Patriots might try some deep balls to Boutte. There's a real chance they do not connect against this defense. And then there's this other niggling problem with Boutte in Mac Hollins. With Hollins healthy, like he is now, he absorbs 28 routes per game when he's healthy second half of the season. Hollins, similar role in the offense, deep ball ability. I don't know that Boutte's going to get much action in this game. And anytime Seattle puts star cornerback Devon Witherspoon on Boutte, it's game over. Witherspoon's awesome. And Boutte has dud games this year. 9 different games with 1 or 2 catches, including last week with just 1 catch for 6 yards. He's got some under to him, and we're going to play Kayshon Boutte under 30.5 yards and under 2.5 catches. All right. What happens with Hunter Henry? Well, I like Henry here. We're going to go over 39.5 yards. Now, Henry's coming off of back-to-back dud games, just 5 yards and 12 yards. And I like that because maybe it's suppressing this number a little bit. But that was against elite defenses. Houston, Denver in a blizzard with a backup quarterback. Prior to those 2 games, Henry had gone over the 39.5 yards in 3 straight games and 6 of the previous 8 games prior to that. Seahawks, obviously, also a really good defense, but tight ends against them tend to have a lot of volume, not necessarily huge box scores, but a lot of volume. They allowed the 5th most tight end receptions, 6th most tight end yards, 64 yards per game to the tight end position is what Seattle gave up in the regular season. And in the playoffs, Jake Tongas hit him for 59 yards. Colby Parkinson, 62 yards. We go all the way back to week 3. Starting healthy number 1 receivers, tight ends against Seattle are averaging 7 targets, 5 catches, 56 yards. That's well over the 39.5 we need for Hunter Henry. And in the last 2 playoff games, Austin Hooper's been a total non-factor, just 6 and 7 routes run. This is really Henry's job here. They trust him in the playoffs.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian here on the Progressive Guest Line. That's the New England tight end. Let's go to the Seattle tight ends, plural, but we have to specify here, not a tight end named Jake Bobo. You want to concentrate on Barner and Arroyo, correct?
Yes. So we're going to look at them for a couple of overs here. Seattle tight end Elijah Arroyo is only just over half a yard, or you can find him for half a catch. Also, AJ Barner over 24.5 yards. Patriots are good defense. You got to just sort of try to find some angles here. This is one I like, especially the Arroyo side. Patriots were just okay against tight ends last year. 11th most tight end receptions allowed, 11th most tight end yards allowed. The average game for opposing tight ends as a group against the Patriots, 8 targets, 6 catches, 64 yards. For Barner Arroyo combined, their lines here are 24.5 yards and half a yard. So, that's only 25 yards against a team that's giving up 64 yards to the position per game. So then you go to the playoffs. Last game in Denver in a blizzard with a backup quarterback, Evan Ingram caught 2 catches, 19 yards. Game before that, Dalton Schultz, 47 yards. Before that, Aronde Gadsden, 30 yards. So we've got some nice trends here with starting tight ends. For Barner, pretty safe play. He's had at least 3 targets in 9 of the last 10 games. He's had at least 3 targets in 13 of the last 15 games. And again, the Seahawks are giving up 8 tight end targets a game. I just think if you get this much targets to AJ Barner, he's going to find his way to a good game. And then the other side of it I like is Elijah Arroyo, the backup tight end. We only need half a yard here. We need 1 catch. Backup tight ends have managed at least 1 yard in 15 of 20 Patriots games this year. 15 of 20. And so that's a very strong trend for Arroyo here as well. Finally healthy. Hasn't done anything for a month because he was hurt. He's back now, and he's the second pass catching back for this offense.
Your guy,
tight end.
You called it in the summer, over 950 yards, JSN. He had 119 for almost 1,800 yards. Can Gonzalez and the Patriots slow him down? What does JSN do?
Yeah, this is such a great matchup. The Gonzalez, Jackson Smith, and Jigba matchup is just fantastic. I'm going to play out a way that Njigba can find can find a great game. And you can hit this a lot of different ways. I like going first touchdown, anytime touchdown, and 2 touchdowns. The odds for anything related to Jackson Smith and Jigba aren't great, but nevertheless, here's how this could go. Chris Gonzalez is great. He gave up just 1 passing touchdown all year, and the opposing passer rating in balls thrown to Chris Gonzalez's coverage was 5th best by Gonzalez. He's fantastic. And that should be bad news for Jackson Smith and Jigba. And maybe it will be. But if the Seahawks were to use Jackson Smith and Jigba on the outside all game, that would put him on Gonzalez, who will travel in those situations and would shadow Jackson Smith and Jigba. But here's where your angle comes in for him. Christian Gonzalez never plays the slot. Jackson Smith and Jigba can and does. His first 2 years in the league, that's all he did pretty much was run from the slot. Last year, Jackson Smith and Jigba ran 733 slot routes. Then they brought in Cooper Kupp this year, and that 733 dropped down to closer to 200 slot routes this year. But Jackson Smith and Jigba spent those 2 years running from the slot. So all they got to do to avoid Christian Gonzalez is run Jackson Smith and Jigba from the slot. And when they did run from the slot this year, the almost 200 slot routes that he ran, he had an 81% catch rate. He had 0 drops, passer rating on 117 on those slot passes. And he was Pro Football Focus's 3rd highest ranked slot receiver. So when JSN has run from the slot this year, he's been incredibly successful. So one last thing. I'm checking on our time. We have just a moment. Mm-hmm. The slot cornerback from the Patriots is Marcus Jones. He allowed a league worst 5 touchdowns in slot coverage in the regular season. Plus he allowed another one in the playoffs. On balls thrown into his coverage, Marcus Jones gives up a passer rating of 112. So roll all that together. That's your angle. the Seahawks can deploy Jackson Smith and Jigba, who has the second highest end zone target rate in the league, might I add, from the slot, and they can find success with him there. What do you think, guys?
My man.
Very good.
Tip of the cap as always.
Well played, my friend.
Super fun.
Yeah,
Yep.
Very good.
And it's emotional.
Love to see a big game.
I don't know. Next time we're going to talk to you. That sucks.
I know it is a little emotional. It's been an awesome season. You guys are the best. I love working with you. We will manufacture an excuse to come back on sometime well in advance of the NFL draft.
Yeah, no doubt. The feeling is mutual, man. Enjoy the game and best of luck on Sunday.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Yep. There you go. On the Progressive Gasline Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian. Mike Somich next. A lot of fun bets. He's looking at derivatives to attack for the big game.
Sunday, Big Game 60 takes over and VSiN's got every angle covered. Start with VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show at 9 a.m. Eastern. Then roll into a numbers game, prop points, and money moves leading up to kickoff. At 6 p.m., it's Big Game Betting live from Vegas, tracking props and delivering sharp live betting insight as the game unfolds. Then at 10, we're cashing out, grading bets, and breaking down the big game. Check out VSiN.com for all the action and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
And maybe that's why they wouldn't, because they're the Giants and they don't do things that make sense.
Out of all these divisions, this is the one that I am the most curious about because I do think there are positive signs for the Bears.
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome back. A lot of great guests on the program today. Our thanks to Paul Charchi in previous segment. Right now, VSiN host Mike Samich joins the program. Going to be live on the air Sunday with Matt Brown during the big game. Also, his podcast is called Sharp Money. Comes out twice a week with Patrick Maher. Samich, good to talk to you as always, my man. Let's begin with, you have a lot of derivatives here that we're going to get into. Let's begin with how you're attacking some sack props here. I was talking about this with a buddy of mine today. Drake May took 47 sacks in the regular season, fourth most out of any quarterback in the league. And then he took 5 against the Chargers, 5 against the Texans, and 5 against Denver. Seattle's defense is pretty much as good as any of those teams. How have you approached that?
Yeah, they're pretty good as any of those teams in the game state in all 3 of those games. Also not favorable for Drake May's sacks. They were ahead of the majority of those games and were effective running the football. I think you're going to have a little bit different of a script taking on the Seattle Seahawks defense. They play their base defense right around 5% of the time. So the majority of the time they're in nickel, sometimes in dime, yet still number 1 in the NFL in early down rushing EPA. So they're able to have not a ton of linebackers, not a ton of big bodies on the field, but still stop the run early. That forces teams to throw the football on second and third down. And when you do see a team throw against Seattle, Seattle kind of gives you the exact same look almost every single time before the snap, but then makes adjustments post-snap, which forces quarterbacks to hold on to the football 1 or 2 more beats. And to me, when you have a young quarterback like Drake May taking on a defense like that, and you have him holding on to the football for those extra beats with an offensive line that is very gettable, it kind of all plays out to Seattle being able to rush the quarterback pretty effectively in this game. You mentioned Drake May, top 5 in the NFL in taking sacks. On the other side, Sam Darnold, right around mid-pack from a sack perspective. I think we see a lot of sacks in this game. The game state specifically for New England, if they are in chase mode, means that they're going to have to drop back and pass. That gives the advantage to Seattle's pass rush as well. I took over 5.5 sacks in this game combined for both teams. So looking for 6 or more sacks total in the game. I also liked some of the sack numbers when you get a little spicy with the Seahawks team. So Lawrence been one of the more popular plays from a sack perspective. We saw him open in that 140 to 150 range plus money to get 1 sack. That's been bet down to right around plus 110 in the current market. I want to look at one step further, though. We've seen Lawrence in both the divisional game as well as the NFC title game get a strip sack in both of those games. You've got Drake May, who ball security, not exactly one of the most paramount things for him, does not mind getting strip sacked. I got Lawrence at 11-1 to record a strip sack in this game. And if you want to take it one step further and say he recovers that fumble as well, you can get him as high as 75-1 in the market for a strip sack and recovery. It has to all happen on the same play. But I still like the fact that I think Lawrence is going to be able to get 1.5, maybe 2 sacks in this game. And I do think it's a high likelihood we see a May fumble at some point. If we can combine those together, maybe we get a big score on the sack prop. So taking over 5.5 sacks for the game, and then Lawrence to record a sack and fumble on the same play at 11-1, and then a sack, fumble, and recovery on the same play at 75-1.
That is excellent. And a big storyline is Campbell against Lawrence. And it's even funny you bring that up, as a couple viewers were pointing out the big prices on Lawrence as well, as he could wreak havoc. Excellent job, Mike, and that's very creative. You're speaking my language now with field goals. How many do we see, and what's the distance?
Man, I think we could see a lot of them.
I agree.
You have 2 teams that effectively can move the ball between the 20s, but don't mind kicking field goals. I mean, neither of these are overly aggressive coaches. They are both from the take the point school of coaching. Both want to rely on their defenses that have played well throughout this stretch into the playoffs. Seattle's particularly loves to kick field goals. If you look at the individual kickers, both kickers are set at 1.5. Both are juiced to the over. However, you can get the game total at 3.5 at minus 110 to the over. I think we might see 4, 5, 6 field goals in this game, especially, again, if the Seahawks are ahead, they don't mind kicking field goals on 4th and 2 from the 18, right? They're going to go ahead and just take those points, try and pile on top of it. I think it's likely we see quite a few field goals in this spot. So I took over 3.5 here at minus 110. If I was going to go with a total number of yards in the field goal prop, I probably want to be sitting somewhere around the 130 number to go to the over. I do think you're going to see quite a few here, and I do think that these teams will kick from inside the 20, inside the 10. So I think field goals are going to be aplenty come Sunday.
Why do you like Cooper Kupp to go over the 33.5 receiving yards? And then to even break that down a little bit more, I mean, this number here, you don't have to twist my arm. I'm all in. Over 1.5 as well in the first quarter?
Yeah, this is interesting because this actually came from a conversation Matt Brown and I had. At Circa there, you can get over or under 13.5 players to record a reception in the game. And we were just reading through the props and then diving into them in real time. And I was surprised to see only 7 Seattle Seahawks have even had a target so far in the playoffs. And when you look at the target share, there have been 50 overall targets. 16 of them have gone to Jackson Smith-Njigba. You'd expect he's going to be first. Cooper Kupp has 11 and Kenneth Walker has 7. So very condensed into those top 3 from a target percentage. And when you look at what Seattle is most likely going to do is coming out of the gate is try and create separation in the passing game. Try and get to that early lead. The run stop unit for the New England Patriots has been very good. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Seattle break that tendency and try and throw the football early in this game. And with the deviation of targets here, if they do break that tradition and they do try and throw early, that means that Cooper Kupp and Kenneth Walker are highly likely to have a target in the first quarter. Walker's gone over this half-yard prop in both of the first 2 first quarters in the playoff. Cooper Kupp is 1 for 2. You can get Walker right now at plus 21 to get a one over a half-yard receiving in the first quarter. Cooper Kupp's at minus 111 for over 1.5 yards receiving in the first quarter. I think both of those have a high probability of being able to push over the number. And then I like the Kupp number at 33.5. To me, again, second most in targets, and it's not that big of a gap. 16 to 11, not a huge gap. I also think that if I'm New England, what we've seen from these New England teams of the past is you come in and you take away the number one weapon on the other side. Are they going to be able to completely take away Jackson Smith-Njigba? Probably not. But would I be shocked if right out of the gate they have Gonzalez on them as well as a safety over the top and they really allocate resources toward JSN? No, I think that's a pretty logical thing for New England to come in and do. And if that is the game plan, that opens things up for Cooper Kupp. And with a 33.5 number, all he needs here is 4 catches to be able to fly over that prop. So I like the Kupp over 33.5, leaning into the fact that you do have a very small target share from an overall number of pass catchers on Seattle. And I expect that New England comes in trying to stop JSN. I think that really favors Cooper Kupp.
Very good. And then you're all in on Seattle as well. We talked about this, and you've been saying this when you've been on the air here and with the podcast as well. Like pretty much every which way but loose with 4.5 and also climbing the ladder here with some alts.
Yeah, I bet him a 3.5 right when it dropped. Patrick Meyer and I were on sharp money right when the lines came out. The 3.5 was available. I bet it while we were recording the podcast. I didn't expect it to stick. We saw it go out to 5.5. I still like Seattle here at 4.5. I have Seattle as a 5.75 point favorite in this game, so I still think there's somewhat of an edge here on the Seattle side. And I do want to play into the long tail here. I think there are 3 different ways this game goes. I think this is a close game and New England wins. It's a close game and Seattle wins, or it's a Seattle blowout. And I think that's tail toward the Seattle blowout is not properly represented right now in the pricing inside the market. If Seattle gets a lead in this game, let's say it's 13-3 at half, Patriots are going to have a really hard time to be able to fight back in the second half against the Seahawks defense that can pin their ears back and rush the passer against Drake May and company. I also expect that McDonald will come into this game with a plan to be able to stop Drake May's legs. He has been able to adjust his defensive game plan week in and week out for the teams that he is facing. When you look at this New England offense and what they've been successful doing, the Drake May scramble aspect has been a huge part of it. Seattle is going to have a game plan for that, and the speed that they implement on the field, consistently being a nickel and dime, is going to make it harder for May to run. I just don't see a lot of worlds here where you have a New England team that has success consistently pushing the ball down the field. I think they're going to struggle running the football. I think you're going to get 1 or 2 turnovers. All of that plays into Seattle being able to run up the score and take the alt side of it. I played them at minus 7.5 at a plus number. I played as high as minus 14.5 at plus 350 here for the Seahawks. I think they control this game early and make it real tough on New England late.
Very nice. So you're going to be on the air with Matt coming up during the game on Sunday, and you'll be taking the audience tuning in through live player props, and I'm guessing that you two are going to have your eyes on the updated MVP numbers throughout the entire game as well.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on everything here. So we'll be on at 3 o'clock. Kickoff is 3:30 Pacific. So we'll have that last half hour to kind of talk about everything that is happening inside the gambling world, what lines are on the move, what lines aren't. Then we'll jump into the game. One thing that we've done very well with is in-game player props. Once you understand the setup of the game, it's relatively easy to be able to predict where the football is going to go. So halftime, we'll be talking about reception props, rushing props that we like leading into the second half, as well as the second half betting. So make sure you join us here on VSiN. Have the game on your TV, but make sure the audio is set to VSiN so you get some in-game bets as well.
Have a great show during the game, Mike. Love talking to you throughout the entire season. Thanks so much for the time as always. We appreciate that.
You got it, guys. Good luck this weekend and go Seahawks.
Yeah, right. No kidding. He was on the progressive guest line based on all those bets. He would like the Seahawks to come in big time. You can follow Mike on X as well, at Salmobomb18, part of the big game coverage they'll be on with the live betting during the game again, beginning at 6 o'clock Eastern on Sunday. We'll dive into tonight's NBA card coming up next. Our producer Luke's college hoops angle